No, just finish them up. Okay, finish them up, and then it'll be taken care of. Okay, so this is in our class. This would be Math Notes 3. Did we call it Math Notes 3 or Math Notes? What Math Notes are we on? Are we on 3? You guys, are we on Math Notes 3? Because in my other classes, I'm on different numbers. Okay. So Math Notes 3. But did you already do homework 3? Okay, then let's not call it 3. Okay, so I want the Math Notes to match. I made that mistake in summer school. Okay, so we're going to write a little note over here that says no official Math Notes 3. It was combined with Math Notes 2. Okay. Okay, because I want the homework numbers to match the Math Notes numbers. Does that make sense? So that we don't get ourselves confused. In summer school, it was like Math Notes 20, homework 61, and then they had to figure out which one went with which. Okay, so this is going to be circle graphs and segmented. I think she called it segmented bar graphs. It was really cool. Segmented bar graphs. And then starting next week, I'm going to start teaching you the stats that I know and the numeric stats more from a math teacher's perspective. She's more from a statistician's perspective, which is how you're going to see it in college. So I'm going to use a little of hers and a little of mine because I want you really well prepared for stats in college. I want you to take it and then just pass it the first time. Some people take like stats like 3 times in college, and it's only one semester. So usually you just have to take it one semester. And if you get this experience here in our class, the plan is you take it, you pass it. And in college, you have to pay per class. So it's a little bit different. Okay, so let's do a circle graph. So let me show you how first to do a circle graph. Oh, I was looking at the name to make sure I called it the right name. Yeah, it's called segmented bar charts, but graphs is fine. Okay. So let's take a look at one of the things we did yesterday. Okay, so one of the things we did yesterday, and let's make a circle graph of it. What did we do yesterday? Oh, the colors. You guys, I think the colors would make a good circle graph. So do you guys have the colors information? So let's go back to our favorite colors. Okay, so favorite colors. I had a picture of favorite colors. I believe it was in my, right, wasn't I having computer problems? Yeah, it's right here. Is that the colors one? Okay, this is the colors one. Oh, okay. Okay, I need the colors data, so maybe it's in OneNote. Okay, so let me go back to OneNote. And then if not, I'm gonna have you guys tell me the colors data. But let's see. Oh, cool. Let me take pictures. Okay, oops. And then what I'm gonna have you do for part of your homework is the same homework you did yesterday, but make a circle graph from it. So I'm gonna show you how to do the same thing with a circle graph. Okay. And I just took a picture, so let me just get my pictures right here. Didn't I just take a picture? I did. It's right there. Okay, so this would be color, and I'm going to show you how to make a circle graph. Okay, so color and then frequency. We won't have to do the tallies. Okay, so green was 1, pink, and this will help you in case you got stuck with the other one, figuring out how to make a relative frequency graph. Purple, 2, orange, orange 1, blue. I was telling my boyfriend that I was asking you guys what your favorite colors is, and he wanted to know what one. And I said blue. I was trying to remember. I think blue 1. And then also he said, which was interesting because he's taken different college classes than me, and a lot of his classes did have things like statistics in it. And because I said, oh, I didn't know what to do when somebody picked 2 colors. And you know what he said? He said that when they do stats, if there's something that somebody answers like not how you're expecting it, they just throw out your data. So instead of counting it twice, they wouldn't count it at all. So that's kind of sad. Okay, so we're going to add a column to our chart. Okay, so we're going to make 2 extra columns. Okay. Okay, so 2 extra columns. So we're still going to have relative frequency. Okay, so we're going to still have relative frequency. And you need the first 3 rows to make a relative frequency like bar graph. Okay, the ones that you were making. Okay, so that's what you're supposed to do on homework number 3. But if you had trouble, you could do that again today because I'm going to show you kind of how to do it again. But what we're going to add to today's is we're going to add angle. Okay, we're going to add angle. Let me make sure I'm on my right Wi-Fi. I am. Okay, so angle. Okay. So remind me how I found the relative frequency. So this is kind of a little review too. How did you find the relative frequency? Guys, how did you find the relative frequency? Divide, yes. So I'm going to do 1 divided by, and then I like to put it as a percent. So it's nice to have enough room to put 2 things in, or as a decimal. So 1 divided by, but what do you divide it by? Yeah, you add everything. Okay, so underneath, this is a math symbol, summation of F's. Because you guys, I am a math teacher, not a statistics teacher, okay? They're very similar. 10, 26. Okay, so 26. So, right, we divided them by the total number. Okay. Now, I'm not going to write it as the decimals, but if you hit the division on your calculator, that's where you get the decimal versions. Okay. So for the segmented bar chart, you're going to need the decimals or percents. But for angles, it's going to be a little different. So let me give you a formula. Okay, so to find the angle, you're going to take the relative frequency and you're going to multiply it by the, how many degrees in a full circle? Yeah, so to get the angle, this is going to be your formula. There's 2 ways. That's your formula, or the other formula is frequency divided by total times 360, right? Because relative frequency is frequency divided by total. Okay, so it was so cool on the other teacher's videos. This was Mr. Smith's video. He had a protractor on his computer and he was flipping it around. I was like, I wish I had a protractor. I sent him a message. He didn't text me back though, probably because he got 300 messages from students too. I couldn't. He had this cool protractor that flipped around, so I sent him a text. How do you get that protractor? I want that protractor on my computer, but I don't have it. Sorry, you guys, it's not as exciting. Okay, so but his was all typed, so that's like you kind of don't know what to write down. That's the only problem. But he had great information and he was explaining it well, and it was kind of exciting. Okay, I keep thinking, should I just give you their videos? But I've decided no. Okay, so how do I get the angle? So can you guys get like a calculator on your phone? You want to do your calculator on your phone? Okay, because we need to figure these out. Okay, so we need to figure them out. Now, 1 over 26 occurs 4 times, so we only have to do that once. So here, let me take a picture of this one, and then I'll show you what you would do on a calculator, but I know you don't have my calculator. Okay, so I can go to calculator. Let me see. Where's my calculator? I actually have a graphing calculator. Okay. So on my calculator, okay, I'm going to do 1 divided by 26 and then times 360. Now, if I wasn't sure if it would work, I might do that and then times 360. So that's going to give me the angle. Okay, what's the next one? The next one is 5 over 360. Okay, so on this calculator, I don't have to type it again. I can just change the number. Oops. So that's kind of a cool calculator to have too. Okay, so this is what? 4 over. Okay, let me write all those down. Okay, so I'm going to take a picture of that now and then write that down on the other paper. And you guys, I know this class is a little weird, okay, but it's going to get normal. Okay, so some people dropped it, but you guys, this class in the end, like the way the tests are going to be set up, and you're going to get good grades in this class. Okay, that's my plan. So I'm not going to make it like it's hard to get a good grade. If you do your homework every night, you're going to get an A or a B. Okay, and then you're going to be able to use your notes to do your homework. I mean, not to do your homework, to do your tests. Okay, and you're going to be good at this. Okay, it's just weird at the beginning. Okay, so you're like, this isn't normal math. But you don't want that to happen in college when you have a college professor who's not a very good explainer. Okay, so this angle is 13.8%. Oops, not percent. That's funny. That's so funny because one of the teachers, I was watching the video last night for the one teacher who was describing circle graphs, and he said percent. And I was like, I was yelling at the video. I was like, it's not percent, it's degrees. I was yelling at the video, and I just did the same thing. So degrees. Okay. And the next one is what? 69.2 degrees. Oh, let's do all the ones. 13.8 degrees. 13.8 degrees, 13.8 degrees. Oh, and let's type in one sample, right? Let's type in one sample. So what did we do? 1 over 26 times 360, right? Just so you have it back when you're trying to do your homework on your own. We could put approximately. I am a math teacher, so wavy lines is approximately. Okay. Okay, and then this one was 55.4%. Some people will round to the whole numbers and some people round to the decimals. It's kind of up to you, which kind of makes things harder. Do we have a 2% yet? Do we have a 2, an 8, or a 3? No. So can you guys try to find those for me? Can you guys do the 2 over 26 on your calculator and see what you get? Okay, so you're doing 2 over 26 times 360 on the calculator. What's that one? 27.69. Okay, so let's call that 29.7 then. Was it a 6.9? Was it 27.69? Because then we should round up. In stats, they don't care quite as much. Like if you didn't round, like you have more choices of how to round. So is it 6.9? So I should put 7? Okay. So that's 20. But again, remember you guys, I am a math teacher. Oops. You guys, I put a percent in. It's not a percent. That's so funny. It's just so funny because I was yelling at a screen. And he didn't hear me, obviously, because he wasn't there. Okay, you know what? That's the other thing. The reason I don't make the videos, the regular videos, is because I have no one to say, Miss Nichols, you made an error. Okay, what's the 8 over 26? You guys, I rely on you to find my errors for me. Okay, so what's that one? Oh, 110. Okay, so this one is going to be, oops, this one's going to be more than 90 degrees because I don't have a protractor, so that I'm going to be showing you. And you guys, you're not going to just whip out a protractor. Like, can you imagine? Like, you have a protractor. I mean, maybe you have a protractor, but most people don't have protractors. And what's the last one? What's the 3 over 36? Okay, that's what I get to. So 41.5 degrees. And you guys know you learned how to do circle graphs in middle school, but that doesn't mean we're very good at them, right? Okay, and you guys, the computer, I'm going to show you how our computers do these things too once I figure it out. Because I think computers do circle graphs. So that'll be fun. And then I'll show you how to use Google Sheets, which will help you as well. Okay, so you're going to learn a lot in our class. And we have no pressure. Like, there's nothing that we have to finish. You know, so we just take the time that we need. The main thing is you have to be doing your homework. Okay, so when you make the circle graph, okay, so start somewhere. Let's say I start here. So this is going to be my circle. Hold on. How do I even make a circle graph? Okay, I got to try to make a pretty circle. So try to make a pretty circle. And this is the thing that when I was watching the videos, and I've watched videos of other stats people or other math people, and it's almost like magic, right? Like magically they have the answer, but you're like, how do I write that down? So that's why I figure I'm writing everything down because you're going to have to write it down, you know? So how are we going to do that? Okay, so let's go. And actually, I think I'm going to pick the 110 first. So I'm going to make 110. Now, this is 90, right? Now, if I had a protractor, I would measure it, which would be so cool. I was so excited when Mr. Smith did the protractor. I was like, he's got this cool protractor. He could move it around. Okay, so wait, this is 180, right? This is like 45 degrees. 45 degrees. Divide that by 3, maybe 15 degrees each. So that's about 15 degrees. Okay, we'll see. So 110. I don't know. Over here. Okay, and what is that? Blue? And then you should write the percent. Oh, we did need the percent. Shoot. Okay, I forgot. You guys, we write them in the circle graphs. Shoot, and we try to teach this to middle school students, you know? We're not very good at this in middle school. Okay, 26. No wonder they have such trouble. Okay, so this is about 31%. Now, do you guys know where I got that? So how did I get this percent? How did I get that percent? Anyone know how I got the percent? Because that's not the angle. The angle was 110 degrees, but normally people don't put that. They just protract it. Yes, I did 8 over 26. So I did 8 divided by 26 on my calculator. And then I multiplied it by 100 or moved it over 2 spaces. So 8 divided by 36 was, let's see, 0.308. So I just kind of made that 0.31, and then I wrote 31%. That's actually a percent. Sounds good. Oh, let's make it blue. Let's make it blue. Oh, we can't make it that color blue because somebody put cyan. So I guess we can't call it that color blue. How about light blue? Right, you can make pretty pictures too if you want. I have extra credit for pretty pictures, right? If you have colors and they look all neat. If they don't look neat, I'll still give you full credit. Okay, so who's next biggest? Do I want to do a next biggest? I feel like I'm going to do the 13.68 later. Let's do the next biggest. Let's do this one, 69.2 degrees. Ooh, 69.2 plus 110. Watch this. 110 plus 69.2 297, 180. You guys, that's 180. Almost. So let's go. Let's do our next one over here. And you guys, I'm not expecting you to be an expert at this on the test. I'll make the numbers come out to be pretty. So they'll be like pretty angles, 60, 90, 30, things you could figure out, not these crazy numbers. Okay. So what color was this one? Pink. So pink. And what percent is that? Oh, I don't know. So you guys, what percent is pink? 19%? Okay, so how did he figure out that 19%? Yes, exactly. And then they moved it over 2 spaces. How about the highlighter? Is there a pink on the highlighter? Okay, pink. That's so cool. And if you don't have all these colors, it's fine. But if you happen to have colors, it's kind of fun to be able to do it this way. And then you'll really understand better. What I like is that you're going to, I can make this one blue. Oh, I like this blue better. So I wasn't crossing out my words. You're going to be able to understand the world more, okay? Because in newspapers and online, they have these graphs and you feel like, what in the heck are they doing? And if you know how to make them, you're like, oh, they're manipulating me. There's a lot of ways to manipulate with statistics. There's a book, and we'll read some passages from the book, which is How to Lie with Statistics. And it's not that we want to lie with the statistics, but we don't want other people to lie to us from statistics. Like the COVID thing. Oh my gosh, you guys. The COVID thing makes me crazy because they're telling you the COVID cases are going up. Okay, but it doesn't matter if the COVID cases are going up. It matters if the deaths are going up. So they're like, oh, there's this increase in cases. It's like, well, no, there's not. There's just more people being tested. The other people used to have COVID weren't being tested. So they're doing the percentage of the wrong things. So I scream at the TV a lot too. But the deaths are not going up. It's crazy anyway, but it's fine. We're at home and it's better for us to be safe. And I can agree with that. But really, it's really not. I don't want anyone to die. So don't get me wrong. It's not that I want people to die, but I definitely think the way they're portraying it on the news is very, they're stressing people out like my mom, and they're stressing her out so much because of, it's going up, it's going up, it's going up. It's like, well, are the deaths going up? And of course the deaths are going up, but they're not going up very fast. So that's important. And of course we don't want anyone to die. So I get that too. So the numbers. So you guys having the power of these numbers really makes it better. Oh, and then I did see Dr. Shelton, which is like Mrs. Shelton, but and then now color coding you wouldn't have to do because these are colors. But if there were things that weren't colors, it would be nice to color code. So she did color coding in that stuff. Okay, what's 55%? Okay, so 55%. I wish I had a protractor. I don't know. What was that one? What was not percent angle? So this was what, 69.2%. So I should make this one smaller. So make that one smaller than the pink. Usually people don't put this on the sides. I'm just putting that because I think it's going to help me. And that's red. Okay, so I'm going to put red and percent on the red. So you guys, when you do a circle graph, I think you should find all the percents at the beginning before you multiply by the 360. So this is 15%. Okay, so 15% red. Let's get a red highlighter here. Really? Does it red highlight? We can still see the word? Hey, that's pretty good. Okay, I'm kind of fascinated by being able to do things like this instead of having to find a red highlighter or something. Okay, so I'm kind of excited. Okay, and then that's the red one. And then what's left? 27 and then a bunch of 13s. Oh, there's a 41. Okay, 41. So 41 is a little smaller than that one. Personally, I put them in order of size, but you don't have to put them in order of size, but that helps me make the circle graph. Okay, you guys, there's not going to be a black highlighter. So that might not be true. Oh, how about gray? Do we feel like black? We'll just put gray. No, you guys, there's a gray. Okay, we're going to use black. We're going to leave black white. Nobody picked white. Isn't that interesting? Nobody picked white as their favorite color. Okay, what's the next one? So 27.7. So that's going to be even smaller. 27.7 degrees. And then what do I have to fit 4 more in there? So this is purple. And then I have to fit 4 more in this little section, right? Aren't there 4 13.5s? Okay. You guys, I think my purple might be too small. I want my purple to be bigger than those 13.5s. So maybe make my purple a little bigger. Then I'll do those. You don't want to mislead people with your data. Yeah, I think that looks good. Now black is, I think black should be bigger than purple though. Maybe I should make black a little bigger. And yes, it would be nice to have a protractor, but then not nice to have a protractor because then I don't have to use a protractor. Okay, so you guys, I'm not going to have nearly so many numbers. Now, if you guys had to choose again, you'd only choose from 5 colors, right? You wouldn't have chosen all these like creative ones. Okay, so blue, pink, red. Okay, green is one of these little ones. And what was the percent on the green? Oh, we haven't figured out the percent. You guys, what's 1 over? Oh, good, thank you. Hey, Victor, can you tell me what the green one is? Cool. So green one is 3%. And then the gray one is 3%. And then the cyan one is 3%. And there was one other, right? Orange is 3%. Okay, and then he said that the purple is 7.7% and black is 11.5%. And you guys, seriously, it's way better to learn it here than trying to learn it their only time learning it in college. Like I said, lots of people repeat that class. It's really sad. Oh, orange is also 13.8. Okay, and you guys, people don't usually put the degrees. So usually the degrees are left off. But I don't mind if they're there because it'll help you try to figure out what it is. And then we really should be coloring it. Green, gray. Okay, I know you guys don't have all these colors with you right now, though. Okay, green, gray, cyan, orange. What I really like about the other teachers' videos is they're using this thing called Edpuzzle, and it asks you questions in the middle of the video. So it'll stop and ask you a question, and then you have to answer it. I don't know yet what happens if you get it wrong because I'm a teacher, so I already know how to do the problems. So I know how to do them. So, and I don't really want to miss one, so I haven't done it wrong on purpose. But I kind of want to know like what happens if you get it wrong. And then it doesn't let students fast forward, which is kind of cool. The first time you watch it, I don't know if the second time you watch it, it is. We'll just leave black, white. Sounds good. So you guys, circle graphs are hard to do, but this is the plan, and you have the formula. Okay, so you have the formula. They're kind of time consuming. So what I did is I want you guys to do circle graphs on the ghost problem from yesterday. And then I wrote myself a note. So I'm going to have you do 3 circle graphs and then find 1 error in the circle graph. That's going to be for homework 4. And then for homework 5 that you'll do on Monday, we'll do the segmented bar graphs. But you could do them both today if you have time. But it's kind of time consuming. Okay, so for 3 of them, it's taken us a while. And I want to show you how to do the segmented one. Okay. What do you think? Do you feel like you have a chance to be able to do the circle graph? Kind of complicated, but not impossible. Valuable. Let's talk about errors in circle graphs. There's real errors and then there's perceived errors. So let me just write perceived error. Versus real error. Okay, now there's also misleading, right? You could make a misleading graph and like write the percentages in, but have the wrong angles and like do that. But what if you add all the percentages? Okay, what are you supposed to get if you add all the percentages? What should they be? What should it be if you add all the percentages? Supposedly. What's everything together supposed to be when you add them? Yeah. So you're supposed to get 100%. Okay, now when I add these, and yes, on the angles. So the angles are supposed to be 360 and the percents are supposed to be 100. But sometimes when you add them, so like if I add 19 plus 31 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, oh, I forgot to write 3 for orange, plus 17.7 plus 11.5 plus 15. Uh-oh. You guys, I'm at 106.2%. So I don't think that's a good thing. Hold on, let me add it again. 31 plus 19 plus 15 plus 11.5 plus 13.8. Oh, it's not 13.8. It's what, 3? 3 times 4 plus 17.7. Hold on. Yeah, you guys, I get 106.2. So did I write one of these numbers wrong? Oh, I did. Oh, do you see purple? Do you see purple right here? I wrote 17 and not 7 when I typed it into the calculator. Okay, so I only get, my sum is 96.2%. Now, I have to decide if that's a real error or perceived error. Can you tell me what the 3's were? You guys, what were the 3's? You wrote 3%, which is totally fine. But was it 3 point what? Oh, so really, what should we have written for that? Because I feel like I'm too far away from 100. Now, you're not going to be at perfectly 100 because of rounding. But maybe we should have called that 3.8%, or maybe we should have called that 4%. So let me see if that helps. Let me see if it helps if I call that 3.8 instead. Ooh, that's good. If I call it 3.8, I get 99.4. So let's change these to 3.8%. Okay, so let's change these to 3.8%. Now, if I change them to 4%, just so you know, if I changed it to 4, I would have gotten 100.2. That's if I use 4% and not 3.8%. So is it that I did anything wrong? It's not. I mean, the 96 was a little too far off for me. Okay, but this would be if I use the 4, and this would be if I use the 3.8. But sometimes it's not perfect, and don't be too upset. But check it just to see. Like for me, I thought my 7.7 was 17.7. Okay. Okay. So a real error, 96 is huge. Or if they're trying to fake you out and they have what look like percents on there, and it's like, oh, well, 50%, and then you add up the percents and it's like 120%. It's like you can have 120%, so that would be like a real error. Okay. A perceived error would be if you're close, but close is okay. Okay, I just wrote this right here. You don't have to highlight it, but I just wrote that. So if you're close, you're okay. 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 So let me show you about the other type. Okay, which is really cool. I loved her example. And this is kind of what statistics is about. And now we're going to do more math-based statistics because what I want you ready for in college is I want you to be able to do all the calculations from a math point of view. And then when your teacher describes how they want you explaining it, you can learn that from the teacher that's there because they're going to have their own perception of how they want it explained. Okay, but the math is universal. So the math is going to be the same for everyone. Okay, so I want to focus on the math and not the wording. Okay, but the wording is what other people would care about. And if you were taking the AP test, then Miss Dr. Shelton would tell you exactly how that's supposed to be worded. Okay, so this one is another example. So we'll just call it example 2. Well, actually, this is, I guess this is Math Notes 5. Okay, this is Math Notes 5 because it's going to go with homework. This is going to go with homework 5. Okay, so this is going to go with homework 5, which is going to be the homework that you would do on Monday. Okay, you could do it during tutorial on Monday and ask me questions about it. Because Monday is the day you have 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6 and tutorial. But it won't be due until Monday night. Okay. But I want to show you the notes on it. Okay, so what it is, and they wrote a whole paragraph. Okay, so it's a very interesting thing. They wanted to ask if so this was the question. They want to know if St. John's wort. Okay, so this was the question that statistics kind of answers. St. John wort is an herb. And they wanted to know if it helps with depression. Okay, so they wanted to, because there's some side effects with Zoloft. So some people would rather try to take an herb. So they want to know if it's effective. Okay, so we'll see a lot of types of questions like this. So this is a prescription drug. Now, if you want to compare them to each other, you're going to have to make it so people don't really know which one they're taking. Because otherwise, somebody might think it's going to work and that's going to help. So there's another thing called the placebo, which we'll talk a lot about in this class. But basically, I liked how Dr. Shelton described it. She said it's a fake pill. So basically, you would take a pill for each one and they would look the same, like a nondescript white pill. Okay, and you would take the study and you would randomize it. Randomizing it means that you're not going to give the, certain, maybe the chubby people the Zoloft, or you're not going to give the men the placebo. You're going to, except I spelled that wrong. It's placebo. I don't know why I put it in there. Placebo. Okay. And that's the word pill. Okay. So we want to see if it's effective, so that's a very important thing to see. So we want to see is, are these different or the same? Okay. But are these effective? Compared to the placebo? That's kind of what they want to know. Okay. Okay, so they did randomize it. Okay, so they randomized it. But again, we're just kind of doing the math behind it right now. We're not worrying about the randomizing it. Okay, and this was, are these effective for depression? And one thing that's nice about our textbooks is they don't just make up numbers. Now, I'm just going to make up numbers on the test, though. So on the test, I'm going to make the numbers come out nice and easy and pretty. Okay, but the for the real problems, it's nice to see homework problems that are related to real life. Okay, so they give you this chart. Okay, so we're going to draw this chart in. Okay, and I noticed that they're actually giving you a bigger chart on this note than they do in the homework. So I want to give you just the chart that's in the homework. Okay, so lots of the charts in the homework don't find the totals, but we need the totals. So I'll show you how to find the totals. Okay. Okay, so this one is saying no response. So no response would be no help. So your depression was exactly the same 8 weeks later after taking these pills than originally. That's what no response means. Partial response means it helped you a little bit. You were still depressed, but not as bad. And then full response means that it worked really well and you don't feel depressed anymore. Okay, so this is St. John's wort. This is Zoloft. And this is a placebo. And you can see they only give you 3 questions, right? Because each question is kind of long. Okay. So they give you these numbers. Now put them kind of to the side though, because we're going to need to have room to work. So they give you these numbers, but when you write them on your paper, so you don't have to write a whole brand new chart, just kind of write them on the left side and give yourself a big gap in the middle to do your work. What we're going to use is we're going to use the words independent. And Dr. Shelton was saying that's like nearly identical percents. And then dependent. And we'll talk more about these words. We're trying to just get used to some vocabulary. And so you guys know when I make tests, I make a practice test that looks identical to the test with different numbers. And during this year, you're going to be able to use that practice test on the test, okay, especially during distance learning. So don't be nervous that you're like, I'm not going to be able to do this by myself. You're going to have very good notes to use while you're taking it. Okay, so dependent. Dependent is, she said, would be different. So if they're different percents. And you know, if one is 99.6, one's 100.2, well, that's pretty close. So we're not going to be like, it's not perfect, so that's it, like math would be. Okay, so I'm going to change colors for you because what you do when you do this is you make totals. So we're going to make totals. Okay, so we're going to make totals. And you can also make totals on the right side. But in this case, we don't want totals for the right side. We're going to have totals down. Because do you see how 27 people were fully recovered with St. John's wort? And 27 people were recovered with Zoloft. But it seems like the placebo had, hey, more people had recovery. But what we don't know is they don't have the same number of totals. So we have to change these into percents. Okay, so you need to change into percents. Okay, and what we're going to do is just change the whole column into percents. So how do I find the total of this column? Is how do you find the total of that column? Or what is the total of that column? So what do you think? What's the total of that column? And then sometimes they give you the total, and then sometimes they don't give you the total. So what's the total? Are you guys still with me? Oh, I just want the total of the first column. So maybe I'll color code here. So I just want the total of the first column. Not the total. Yeah, 113. So I'm going to find the 113. I'm just writing in red the things I didn't know from when they gave me the problem. So then how do I change these into percents? Yes. So, and then what she was doing is she was writing it in the table. That's why I said leave space. I was like, oh, that's awesome. I was going to make a whole brand new table and I had to relabel it. Okay, so equals, and then we're going to need to find out these percents. Now, what's funny is when I saw hers, her middle column didn't add up to be 100%. So I was like, oh, she did something wrong, but I don't know what it was. So we're just going to type these in ourselves. Okay, so 27 divided by 113, that's 0.24. And we can write that as a percent later, but we'll just call it 0.24. 16 divided by 113 is 0.14. And you definitely are going to get to use a calculator for stats in college and in my class. Nobody does stats without a calculator. 0.62. Okay. And those are decimals. but you could make them into percents if you wanted to look at them that way. But decimals are like you're making a relative frequency. Now, when you do this column, okay, when you do this column, the Zoloff column, okay, you're just doing the Zoloff column. So you're just going to find the total of the Zoloff column. Okay, and then some people also add sideways, but we're just going to focus on the ones that add up and down. So we're just going to do the up and down ones. Okay, so I added those and I got 109. So you divide these by 109. And this one must have been because of how she rounded, because she wrote 0.2, 0.2, 0.5. 0.2, 0.2, 0.5 is 0.9. That's not 100%. So I think it's because of rounding. Let's see. Oh, okay, so this is actually 0.25. 0.247. Okay, those are pretty close though. Do you feel like Zoloft and St. John's wort were almost the same in that case? Okay, 26 divided by 109 is 0.24. Okay, those are different. So what did she say different was? She said different is dependent. Okay, so probably these two at the moment, I know full response was the same, but partial response and no response are going to be different. So we're going to say St. John worts and Zoloft, their effects are dependent and not independent. Okay, so then 56 divided by 109. And we'll look at different phrasing people use, but like I said, I want to really focus on the math. Okay, so 0.25 plus 0.24 plus 0.51. And that's 100%. So that makes sense. And I feel like those are different. So that means medicine, as it looks so far, medicine type and response, you know, these seem to have an effect. We don't know if it has a positive effect or a negative effect. Okay, so for placebo, what do I have to do to get the bottom number? Okay, he found it for me. And what did you do? You added the numbers, right? Okay, so 116. And you're going to have 3 of these on Monday's homework. I found some interesting topics. I was going through reading the stats book to see which topics I like. And then if any of you are thinking, hey, this isn't, this is pretty good. I think I could, keep at this pace, and you want to take AP stats, send me a message. And you're only like maybe one lesson off of AP stats that you could do this weekend. If that was something that like stats kind of scared you, but now you're like, you know what, maybe I could try. I could send you the videos, and then you could kind of see if that might be something that you wanted to do. Okay, I don't know. I think they have room in their classes. I don't know if they would let you switch at this point, but I did talk to the stats teachers originally and said that's why I wanted to do the first week the same. So in case any of you guys wanted to change to AP stats so you could get college credit for taking that test. But if you don't, it's fine. I'm happy to have you in my class. But I wanted to give you the chance in case, because I know some of my students were nervous last year. And then I don't know if any of them will end up dropping down into our class. So if they drop down into our class, I thought it would be nice if we're on the same pace also. But I'm not teaching stuff that then they won't learn. Okay, so does this make sense so far? And then I'm going to just add them to see if I'm kind of close. But they might be off by 1. Like, don't be alarmed if it's 99% or 101%. I was kind of alarmed by 96%. Okay, and then she made this cool thing. Guys, I'm talking about Dr. Shelton, who teaches AP stats. She and Mr. Smits make the videos. Okay. The videos for AP stats. And they're kind of good. I like them. It's just, I feel like it'd be hard, I don't know, I'd have to pause it so that I could figure it out before I wrote it down. So, but the videos are pretty short. So one video was like minutes, one video was like 10 minutes, maybe 12 minutes. And then I would just have to pause and write stuff down in the middle. I was just watching them, but then it would be hard to learn, but I already know the material. So I'm just kind of refreshing. Okay. So what she did, it was so cool. You guys, this was so cool. I've never seen one of these before. Because when I taught AP stats back, say 20 years ago, they didn't have these things called segmented bar graphs, but these are really cool. So, and then she made it, but she had the special paper. So I was thinking, we don't have special paper. So I wanted to show you how to do it without special paper. So this is called a segmented bar graph, and that's what you're going to do for homework number 5. You're going to do segmented bar graphs. And we have what, 20 minutes? Yeah. Yeah, we'll be able to do it in 20 minutes. And then I'll show you which questions you have for homework. Okay. So what you have to do is you have to make a skinny bar graph. Okay, so kind of make it long. And then you're going to divide it into 10. Now, if you're on graph paper, you could make every 2 squares be 1. So it'd be a little bit easier if I was on graph paper. Okay, so then I need what, 5 and 5 in here equal? Oh, that's not bad. I feel like I'm back to elementary school. You know, when you're in elementary school and you're trying to do those number lines, that was the hardest thing, wasn't it? No wonder people hated fractions. You're like, how do I divide this thing into equal parts? It's so difficult. Okay, so. Oh, you know what else we could have done? Oh, I have a better idea. Okay, mine has too many parts. You guys just start making them equal. I'm such an idiot. Okay, so let me show you. I was thinking, how do you make a thing? Okay, you guys just start from the beginning. Right? So that's just like you would on a regular piece of graph paper, right? So that's going to be 10%, 20%. Oh, yeah, you guys go forward. Don't go back. Don't do what I did. Don't go all the way. And you could put these as decimals or percents. Right? And then just make them equal. And then where it ends, it ends. Okay. So that's the kind of thing that sometimes I find difficult when I'm watching notes that are typed. It's like, but how do I do that on my own? But she had a good description and she gives you the charts. So that would have been okay too. Okay, now your segmented bar graphs, you're going to have 3 of them. And you're going to make them all the same. Okay, and then she had decimals. Okay, but we're having percents, but either way is fine. Okay, and she said circle graphs are not as effective for this. Okay. I think I'm a little slanted, but you got to try to make them. Okay, guys, I'm a little slanted here, so somehow mine are not lining up. Okay. Sounds good. And then label your percents. Yeah, right. And that, yeah, it's interesting. It doesn't feel like normal math, and that's why some people will say statistics isn't really math, but it's kind of math. But then it's kind of not math. You know, it's like not algebra math. I would say it's not algebra math. That's why second semester, just in case you guys have to take college algebra in college, you might only have to take statistics. One semester you take statistics, and that's the only math class you ever have to take again. It is possible that you'll also have to take college algebra. So that's why second semester, I'll remind you like how to graph a parabola and stuff, do systems of equations, so that in case you have to take that class, you'll remember. Okay. Okay, now, so what you do is we're going to have St. John's wort on, like this one's going to be St. John's wort. This is going to be your column names. And this is, oh, you know, the book did it up and down instead of sideways. That's interesting. You could also make it an up and down bar graph instead of a sideways bar graph. I'm just imagining what the book did. The book had them going vertically, and then she had them going horizontally. So either one is okay with me. Okay, so what she did, I thought this was kind of cool. She said, which is the best scenario? Like, what's the most positive scenario? So if you were trying to present this to someone and say, hey, look, my drug's working, is full response, partial response, or no response the best case scenario for the medicine? What do you want to happen if you take a medicine and you're depressed? Yeah, the full response. So she said, make the full response green. Okay, so she was saying, let's make the full response green. And then we could make the no response blue, I mean red. What do you think? And then the partial response, oh, we could do it like a stoplight. We'll make this one yellow. So she said it's hard to tell sometimes with the numbers because they don't have to be perfect, right? But she said when you see the graphs, you really can say, oh, those three graphs do not look the same. So that's what she was saying. So what you do is the 24% here. Okay, so I'll circle this so you could see it. And I guess for our class, for these graphs, it might be good to bring some colors like on, when you come back on Monday. So 24%. So you're going to go to 24%. Okay. And it's kind of like a circle graph, but it's sideways instead of in a circular shape. I thought this was very creative. So they do have this in the book and in stats. So this would be full response, right? And then to get to where the next percent would be is you would add. So this is what, 24%? So what I would do, just so I could show you the work, I would have to add the 24% plus the 14% to get 38% to know where I should stop my yellow one. So to do my yellow one, I feel like that was yellow. I want to stop at 38%. Because I need 14 more percent. So that's a little tricky. So this is 14%. That looks good though, right? The 24% and the 14% adding to be 38%. And this is partial. And then the rest is 62. So shouldn't that just be the whole rest of the graph? It should just be the whole rest of the graph. And you guys, if you don't have colors, I should have said this because I'm so excited about my colors, but you could do like, like that kind of shading, this kind of shading, maybe this kind, whatever. You could do different kinds of shadings if you want, if you don't have colors. But if you make it look all pretty with colors, I'll give you extra credit on your homework. Okay, so this is what, no response? And think of yourself trying to convince somebody of things with data. That's really what statistics is about and about finding patterns. Look, that's pretty bad. I like that she did that in red, but she accidentally did it in reverse. So she said she was going to do it that way, but then she accidentally did it in reverse. And then she didn't start the video over again, which is good. So this is 62. Oh, I should put that as a percent, not a decimal. I think for me, when I add the percents, it's easier than adding the decimals in my head. So I kind of like it with the percents. Okay. What do you think? You kind of feel like it makes sense? It's different. Okay, it's different. Okay, so what am I going to put for? Okay. Okay. So Zoloft. I still want to put the greens first, don't you think? So what's their green? What's Zoloft's green? What percent? And remember, you guys are supposed to be chatting. So I know there hasn't been too many questions I'm asking. So can you look in the chart and tell me what percent Zoloft is? What percent is Zoloft? And if somebody answers, you guys, multiple people can answer. Okay, so this will get your chats up. So what's Zoloft's full response? Well, I wrote 25, but Sergio, I know it was like 24.7. So mine is 25. So we're going to go here. Hey, that looks the same, doesn't it? Oh, you guys, I have the green color. Can we just do the placebo's green too now? What do you think? Let's do the placebo's green too. So what's the placebo's green? What's the placebo's green number? The full number. 32. Okay, so I'm going to go up to 32. Yeah, one of my friends is the stats teacher at Diamond Bar High School, and I was she helped me kind of design this class because we were talking about what do you need for college. And she told me, well, stats isn't really math. I said, but they need stats for college. And that's why we thought, okay, second semester we could do some college algebra to review. They don't have this class yet at Diamond Bar, but this is what she would want it to be if it was Diamond Bar. So that's why I was kind of involving her in the decisions too. 25%, 32%. And she teaches stats. So she said, yeah, if they learn stats the whole year, that'd be okay. But it'd be better to kind of do a little of each. And then I do like the personal finance aspect of it too. Okay. But the plan is to have you guys get good grades. So don't worry about that. I'm not trying to ruin your GPAs. Okay. I know AP Stats is a class that people get good grades in. So, I mean, we don't need to have less grades than them. Dr. Shelton, I think no one ever gets a D or an F unless they don't do their homework. So that's it. Oh, you looked at the wrong one. Oh, okay. Okay, what about the yellow? Now the yellow is a little bit different, right? The middle. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to add these two to get the yellow, right? Because I have to put 24 more percent, right? So how am I going to get, I got my 25%, but then I need what other percent? So you guys, what do I have to add to that? I kind of like doing it as percent and not decimals better. So I'm on Zoloft. So I'm going to put the yellow percent, but I got to add it to the 25%. So what's my partial response for my Zoloft? Yeah, so I'm going to have to add these 2% to know where to end my yellow. This is the yellow end, right? So I have to add it on to the green to know where to stop. $49. And this is sometimes where I feel like the book just has the answer and you're like, okay, but how do I do it myself? So that's why I'm just taking regular notes and, not doing it with like showing you PowerPoints and stuff. Okay, 24%. But you guys, this is how I always teach. So it makes me more comfortable. Oh, and then the red's cool. Let's just do the red the whole rest of the way, right? Now, it should be what? 51%? Oh, okay. So I feel like that's good. 51% should be at 49, right? 100 minus 49%. So this goes up to 49%. Okay, and then this is 50%. Color it here. 50%. So this was what? No response? And we definitely need to be labeling these things. And this is 51%. Okay, so what am I going to add to 32 for my bottom one? 11. Okay, I agree. So that's what, 43%? This is the yellow end for this one. Okay, so 43% is my yellow end. It's kind of complicated, but valuable. So you guys just remember it's valuable. Okay. Okay. And you'd much rather learn it here than with some crappy teacher that you have to keep. We have great teachers at Walnut, but let me tell you, at the colleges sometimes, I don't know, they just suck at explaining. So it's very sad. It's like, imagine your worst teacher at Walnut, teaching you the hardest class, in college. That's what often happens with stats. I think it's because we skip so much stats in high school too. So then you've never seen some of these things before because we high school teachers are like, we don't want to teach the stats part. And so we're like, oops, didn't have time. Okay. And we really didn't have time. So it's not, it's not that we had infinite time at the end and we were doing nothing. Okay. And what's this percent? What percent should I put in here for no response? Yeah. Okay, so now I like the pictures. So what she said was she said the pictures are a good representation of independence and dependence. Like even look at those partials. I feel like the partials are definitely not the same. The greens are kind of close, but not really with that placebo being 32%. You guys, how did more people have a full response with the placebo? The placebo is the fake one. You took medicine, like say you had a headache. So this could be for headaches. You think you're taking a medicine that's going to help you. So maybe your headache goes away just because you think it's going to help you. That's a placebo effect. Okay. And so our whole class will, except for the college algebra, graphing a parabola, it doesn't really have to do with real life. But the stats is really a real life thing. And that's why they have a lot of people in college take stats. They'd have more people take stats in college for majors than college algebra. Okay. Sounds good. So let me show you the homework questions. Oh, well, let me show you the homework questions from yesterday. And do you like that I make that like paste them? I can do it now because I have a 6 period. Or and you guys, when are you gonna really do the segmented graph homework, right? The segmented graph homework, aren't you gonna do it like later? You should do it like maybe on Monday, is what I'm thinking for the M5. And then M4 circle graphs. Are you gonna do them today? Or are you probably gonna do them on? Let me write the homeworks for you. Okay, and then I'll try to make you a sheet. I'll make you a sheet because that's kind of cool. Okay, so Mn4. Okay, and these are both going to be from the same section of the book. As actually just working. Okay, so this is section, oh, I see why, because it's just called all of chapter 3. Oh, that explains how the section numbers are. Okay, so this is chapter 3 problems. Okay, so this is page, so the circle graphs I found for you were on page 36. So page 36, you're going to do 7, 8, and 9. And put, you're going to make all circle graphs. Okay, because you've already done, 9 was ghosts. And you already did 8, which was education level. But we're going to make them into circle graphs instead. So you're going to make the chart. Okay, don't use your chart from yesterday. Just make a new chart. You can kind of copy it if you think you did the same thing. And then 14 is like, what did they do wrong? But on a circle graph. Like, what happened? What did they do wrong? And then Mn5. Okay, oh, and I did post the link to the book somewhere, I believe. Okay, and then this is page, it's not the same section, but it starts on page 39. Okay, so it starts on page 39, but it's like 39 and 40 probably. So page 39 and 40. Okay, so this is 24, 26, 28, 29. These you're going to do the segmented graphs, but let me check because there might be one where I just asked you to answer. And I tried to, oh yeah, and I don't want, you don't have to answer the questions. I just want the segmented graphs. Okay, one's on what people did in different years. Like what did they do after high school? Did they go to continuing education? Did they go employed? Did they go in the military? And it's different years. So that one's kind of cool. And then one is tattoos and having hepatitis C. Like, does getting a tattoo mean that you're more likely to have hepatitis C? And then another one was about federal prisons and violent offenders, property, drugs, weapons, things like that. So there's only 5. It's not too bad. And then what was the other one about? 28, 29 was in 1991 and 2001. What's the difference between do your parents work full time? Both work full time. One works full time, the other part time. So it's kind of interesting thing. So you're making segmented graphs. You are not answering the questions. So I don't need you to answer the questions. If you answer the questions, I could give you extra credit. But right now, I just want to know, can you make the graphs? Does that sound good? Sounds good. This one's due Monday night. This one's due Sunday night. Okay. And you can be working on the segmented graphs during tutorial on Monday, and then I can help you if you get stuck. Okay, can everybody type, bye? And then you do need to go to your next class. Is anyone starting right away? Maybe yeah, right? That's what I'm thinking, Victor. No, don't start right away. Of course, it would be faster. You guys would be so much faster if you did start right away, but I don't think we want to start right away. Okay. Okay.
Miss Nichols?
Oh, Juliana's laptop died. Okay.
Miss Nichols?
Uh-huh.
If you scroll up a little bit, what does the word next to dependent say? I can't read it.
Next to which?
Like dependent equals something percent. What does that word say? Yeah, the highlighted.
No response?
No, you know
What
how it
color?
says independent and dependent? And then independent
Oh, right
equals
here, right
and
here. Different.
oh, different?
Different. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Different. Okay, sounds good.